a little after 7, so I'm still going to call this meeting order. Would you all join me in the salute flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call. Show all members present, please. Item 4, acceptance of May 16th minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to accept the written minutes of May 16th meeting. Any discussion? Being none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor? 5-0. Item 5, acceptance of agenda.
You do have a 1/11th hour item. It's the jaws of life for the fire department. The second pair of jaws of life is not working, and we need to discuss its replacement. And you do have executive sessions.
Okay, now there's one other thing too, 11th hour. I spoke with Economic Development Director yesterday.
Wait, I'm sorry, what's that?
I spoke with the Economic Development Director yesterday. He would like us to act on a request to put an ad in a magazine called Maine Biz.
Yes.
He gave you a notice on that, James?
Yes.
Okay. That'll be there also then.
Make motion we accept the agenda as amended.
Second.
Motion been made, seconded to accept the agenda as amended. Any discussion? All those in favor? Right. Item 6, open to public. Anyone from the public wish to speak at this time? Item 7, new business. 7A, Church Street parking, discussion action.
Just for discussion, we had a meeting half an hour ago with members from the church and from the Penobscot Marine Museum about the conditions up there and possible solutions. It's been, probably at least 100 years of problems. Probably not so much of a problem until we got automobiles. But it's very tight up there. It was a possibility of installing a real sidewalk, a raised sidewalk with a curb on the westerly side of Church Street from where it ends at the church to the school is what was on our plate. And I did some measurements prior to the meeting. The road width is roughly 24.5 feet wide. The state standard for passing lane is 11. So there's enough room for 2 cars to pass, and if we didn't impact that very much with the addition of a sidewalk, we would be in pretty good shape. The parking would continue to be a bit of an issue because you add the width of a car, you're still going to have width problems. So there's a lot more discussion, and the members who were there were going to go back to their congregations and committees and talk about possibility of one way and other thoughts on the matter. So, but it was good meeting with them, and we fed a lot of black flies.
I suggest too, James, maybe if while that paving crew's here, have them give us an estimate of what this might cost.
Yeah, we'll get someone, what we're looking to do is access safe routes to schools funds, and the state is very interested in helping us with this, and that's kind of why a push is on right now. In putting in a sidewalk, we could add an additional handicap spot in front of the church, which is something they really want. So I think all the components are there to come up with a real good solution. We just need to come back together at some point in the very near future and have a further discussion about options.
What do you think our timeline is from having a decision ready?
I would think maybe by the end of the month we might have something that we could submit. Our goal would be to have something done before the next school year, because that's our critical point. The church and Curtis Hall are used in the evacuation plan for the school should there be an incident, and we have had to move kids out of the school to that point in the past, and they walk down the road, and I'm sure if we evacuate the school the same thing would happen, but at least there would be an option for them to get off the roadway and make it a lot safer.
And then you also mentioned that the existing sidewalk isn't compliant.
Yeah, the first thing to look at is the conditions on the ground, and the sidewalk coming from Route 1 to the church is only measures 4 feet, so it in and of itself is not ADA compliant. So probably if we're looking at applying for grant, we're looking at Route 1 to the school completely, and that's not something that we can just throw another foot on. Because it just doesn't work that way. We'd have to dig it up and replace it. So there's a lot of challenges, but I think it's not something we can't solve.
Sure. Can I ask a question? ADA compliant. When we were talking about sidewalk across for the funeral home in that area, they're saying 44 inches. You've been saying 5, and I think DOT said 5 feet rather. DOT was saying 44 inches upstairs. What is the correct figure? You sold on this?
It's probably 48, but we built to 5 feet. I'm sure that before long that's where it's going to be, and that's where we need to be. So, we build all our sidewalks now to 5 feet. As does the state, as they've been through. They said they always try for the 5 feet mark.
Will this involve any right-of-way issues with the extension of those foot?
Not likely. We're right there where we need to be.
Any other questions or discussion? Okay, going on to 7A, wharf paving authorization, discussion action.
Yeah, as you may notice, we're full on paving right now. We had a very good bid on paving and would like authorization to add the wharf parking lot to it. We need your authorization to do that. If the addition exceeds the funds available from the borrowing that we're doing, I am informed through economic development that the funds from the TIF project would be authorized for that. And with that in mind, we're asking you just for authorization to move forward, see what it would cost to add to the bid and get that done this year. Whether it's through the borrowing funds or through the additional TIF funds.
So the borrowing funds is what we approved at town meeting?
Correct.
Okay, so this is just us to actually execute it. I'll make a motion that we authorize to add the wharf parking lot from borrowing and if necessary from TIF.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to authorize the paving of the wharf parking lot, with money from TIF if necessary. Any discussion? All in favor?
One thing comes to mind. The entrance to the fire department, that is deteriorating out at the road. And it throws your vehicles. As a matter of fact, you were pulling out one day and I come up behind you just as all the orange cones went flying off the truck because it gives a snap. That's gotta be, I mean, while we got them in town.
Our problem with that is that we could, it would be better to patch that when DOT comes through and changes or repairs the road. They're going to be looking at the grade of the road, and that's a matter of the dip, right? More than the
Missing asphalt.
yeah.
Yeah.
We'll patch the. I'll make a note. We'll patch what's missing, but we'll wait for the rebuild because they're going to actually be working on all those. We have a lot of the intersection of Route 1 and Prospect Street is another one that desperately needs to be re-engineered, and that's what they're doing. They're looking at the grade of the road, and they're going to. It's a big part of the project. The engineers mentioned that in one of their meetings upstairs. That's a huge part of the project.
There's several intersections
Yeah.
by the post office and Steamboat and Norris.
That
same
was the
thing.
easy way to deal with water that's running on top of the surface. The hard way is to fix it so it goes underneath, and that's probably the first part of this project will be getting it so that it's going down instead of across the surface of the road. You need those big valleys to keep them from either running down the side street, which is happening on Elm Street, or to keep them moving. So, but we will. I'll make a note of that.
Any other discussion on that?
Nope.
Speaking of Elm Street, it's been fixed several times, but every winter it comes up. It's an old water
Reservoir. Oh, reservoir there.
Shut off valve.
shut up.
Oh, well,
It's in the road,
There he is.
and people have actually got flat tires. We're not about that much.
Where is it?
11 Elm Street, you can see it.
11 Elm.
It's not being used as I understand, because I have mine and Kay has a different one. I think it's just as old and nobody ever took it up.
Yeah, I'll make a note of it.
It's had a bit fixed before.
Is it in the street?
Yeah. Yeah, you'll see it.
Okay.
7C, create a special events committee. Discussion action.
Yeah, we've had the group is meeting for the Maritime Heritage Day planning, and part of the discussion in the last meeting that they had was to create this special events committee. We're only a couple years away from the 175th anniversary, and a lot more planning has to go into that than an annual event. In fact, planning needs to start now if we plan to make it as big an event as the sesquicentennial and the 125th and the 100th, and there's a lot to do. So I think what we're looking for is the board to authorize making the committee, and I didn't come away with a list of names. I know there's one person, there's at least 3 people in the room that were shaking their head yes.
Those just have to apply at the next meeting.
We could put out the application if you want to do it that way. Yep.
That's usually how we do it. We're gonna make it a formal committee, right?
Right, but one of the thoughts was that if we had a committee, but then all these functions would be town functions. And you'd have a pool of folks to draw from to work on these things. And it wouldn't necessarily mean that they had to do it all. But if there was one particular event they wanted to involve themselves in this way, great, or 2 or whatever. But it wouldn't be just leaving a certain few to do everything.
So we put out the word that if you're interested in helping, see us for an application, and we'd love to have you working on that.
So should we vote to create a special events committee, or do we do that once you get some applications? Well,
You can vote.
Yeah,
That
we'll
would
do that right
probably be a
tonight.
good idea.
If anyone wants to make a motion,
I'll make a motion that we form a special event committee and start taking applications.
Second.
Have a second? Motion been made and seconded to create a special events committee. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call and vote. All those in favor? 5-0. Eleventh hour.
Well, it's good that Andy's here to talk the Jaws of Life that I believe we breathed some new life into it and got some spare extra time out of it last year, but it now does not function or doesn't function properly. And we would like to replace it. One of the dealers in the state is getting out of that business.
They're out of the business, yeah.
But they have a demo, Jaws of Life, that they're offering to us if we're interested, and Andy can give you more information on that. We do have in our fire department equipment fund $51,662.
How much would this cost?
It's, they want 18,000 for it. It's 2 power heads, spreaders, cutters, extenders, hoses, about $30,000 new, so he said we could have a 15,000, he said like 10 hours on the whole thing, highly used.
So,
Demo.
It's a demo mode, yep.
so the current set that's broken is
That's the one we got from, Jim got from Surplus.
Okay. So, in what way is it not repairable? What's
We
going on
sent
with
it and I don't know what's wrong with it, something, the hydraulic inside of it won't build pressure, so.
Okay. But it can't be repaired?
We sent it out and slowly they fixed it and it still don't work.
Really? So you tried to get it repaired already?
Yeah, oh yeah.
So you said this demo model would cost the town 18,000?
Yep.
And there's no warranty on it or anything, right, since it's...
I would assume probably not.
Is that the same? Are they all the same, or have they had upgrades over the years?
There's different ones, and they have electrical ones now, and hydraulics, and gas powered.
Is this a Hertz?
So-
This one's adequate,
Yep.
what you want.
Because Hearst is a good known brand name on that stuff.
So the new one, is it comparable to the old one, or is it much better, or?
Both the same.
It works.
It works.
It's better now.
They're not replacing a Ford with a Ferrari or something like that, right?
All attachments fit, right?
Yeah, all the attachments and changes.
Anything we can salvage off the old one for
All the tools
parts?
we can salvage.
For the-
Just
for the new
pump,
one?
Yeah.
I make a motion, we approve the monies for this.
Where's it coming out of?
Fire equipment reserve.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion been made and seconded to approve the purchase of a Jaws for 18.
18.
I was trying to get 15.
Can't you get him down a little?
$18,000, the money to come out of fire department reserve. Any discussion? And then I'll call a vote, all in favor? Audrey,
Get it done.
James, do you have that memo from Dean on?
I do. Do you guys have a copy or?
No,
I don't know if you forwarded
he
it.
showed it to me, but.
Let me read. I suspected that.
Give me a chance to take a
So I know that Dean had been working on this for a while. He and I spoke about what they do is they do like an article about the town, and it's part of that that particular publication of that publication. It's the June into July. They put it together. So.
Was it every 6 months or every?
No, I think that's a monthly. It's a monthly magazine, but the fact book is different than the rest of them. You get on the map case behind Linda. We get a slide of them.
So would the ad be for? Would the ad be for how long? 1 month or?
This would be for this is only published once a year, and that's
Well, that's what I was asking. So is
yeah.
it? Okay, so it's
The
not.
fact book is only once a year, and that's where you want to be in. You don't want to be in the monthly publication. Well, unless you have a lot of money. The best bang for the buck is to get into the fact book, and that sticks around. The others go like ours do on top of the
So
map
this is
case.
the annual publication?
That
'Cause
part,
it
the
looks
fact book is
slicker than
annual.
the ones over there.
It is.
Yeah.
Much better. Similar to our advertising in the economic development magazine for the state of Maine, but at a little bit less cost.
It's come from TIFF or what?
Yes.
Also, Dean tells me that this reaches approximately 85% of the business decision makers here in the state. So,
That's pretty good. Yeah.
yeah. And he's working on a very good ad, and with this 2250 rather, they help set the ad out.
Is it full page or what?
Yeah, be a full page.
Yes. Okay. Full page. I make a motion that we authorize a full page ad in the fact book and authorize up to $22.50 from TIFF.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded to take $2,250 from TIF to put an ad in the main business fact book. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor? Positive. That takes care of all our 11th hour,
It
Jim?
does, yes.
That's my whole advertising budget for the whole year.
Item 9, correspondence.
The first item in correspondence is a letter from the MRC, and it's outlining the funds and how they would be paid out to members of the MRC who are not continuing on to fiber right. On the second or third, fourth page of the document is where Searsport's at, and the total that we have is $210,276. That looks like it's a December payout. Once we, I believe we're going to have to still have a special town meeting to talk about this. We've already voted to not follow the MRC to fiber right. And the second item is a letter to all Waldo County Selectmen from Kim Corley. It just recently came in. I know it went to all selectmen in the county, and I included it because it came in today, and I'll let you go over it. I didn't even read it. That's it.
Item 10, treasurer's warrant.
We approved the warrant pending our signatures.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the treasurer's warrant pending signatures. Any discussion? All those in favor? Pleasure. Town manager's report.
The Public Works has been busy preparing the various roads for paving and rebuild. Much of this work is actually ditching. The state has paved the Mount Ephraim Road as well. Our paving projects have started. We've done Banks Terrace, Brigadier Lane, the west side of Old County Road, Savage Road, and Cobb Road and Turnpike Road. All of these were overlays. They were the finishing or cleaning up of a road. Many of the projects require complete rebuild of the roadway, and they will complete this year. We are dealing with a family of beavers on the Bowen Road. They've been plugging up the culvert there, and we need to replace it. By installing a smooth bore culvert, the critters won't be able to plug it on us.
They'll find a way.
Oh, no, not. In the wastewater, Howard and Dan are doing well. Howard reports that we experienced a pump failure on Trendy Road. He replaced the pump and had the original pump rebuilt as a backup. No news to report at Carver Memorial. The ambulance responded to 46 calls for service in May. They had 3 interfacility transfers and 1 paramedic intercept. Both ambulances are running good. Adrian is moving ambulance 2 into the first response position for a while to manage the mileage being put onto ambulance 1. And the fire department responded to 7 calls for service and issued 65 burn permits in May. The chief reports that tanker 1 is out of service with an air brake issue. All of the vehicles and equipment, with the exception of a Jaws of Life, are running good. And code enforcement's been very busy. Randy's been working with the planning board dealing with a subdivision expansion. This plan is very preliminary, however there does appear to be concerns. The Searsport Police Department received 169 calls for service during the month. The chief attended the law enforcement memorial service in Augusta, as well as the monthly chiefs of police meetings and the MEDART meeting at the Attorney General's office. All cruisers are running good and up to service. We are currently outfitting the new cruiser and hope to have it on the road by July 4th. The reserve officer, Dan Owens, was promoted to full-time this month. We welcome him and look forward to working with him. In economic development, Dean Bennett has received some good news about a grant he has applied for. We received preliminary confirmation that we are approved, and if formally confirmed, will receive a help in replacing the foot ramp and 1 float at the wharf with this grant. The staff members at Town Hall have been worked together to get the Memorial Day Parade and Remembrance Ceremony put together. They were both very well attended. In committees, State of Maine Department of Transportation visited in May to talk about changes to the downtown rebuild plan. The meeting went well. There were about 60 residents in attendance, and the discussion was positive.
Thank you. Department reports.
Move we accept the manager's report. Oops, sorry about that.
Sorry about that.
Second.
Motion made second to accept town manager's report. All those in favor? Now we'll go Selectmen. Cameron, have anything?
No, thank you.
Mark?
I have nothing to say except I drove over the west side of the Old County Road and it was just like driving on glass today, so it's very nice.
I don't have anything to.
Just 2 things. We're gonna have a downtown revitalization committee meeting on Thursday the 15th at 6:30. That's as close as I could gather everybody together.
Mhm.
And on the 16th, there's gonna be another food distribution over at the church over here. We had one back in May, there's gonna be another one. The May one was well attended, it went very smooth, a lot of food got passed out, so if anybody feels the need for some extra food, that is the place to go. 10:30 to noon time on that. That's it.
What time is that revitalization meeting at?
6:30.
6:30, thank you.
It is, MDO, is that just us or
Just us.
MDOT?
Just us.
That's it.
Good, that's it, yeah.
I got one thing. I don't know if you folks have had a chance to read this newest Maine Soundsman. Okay. There's quite an article in here on ticks and diseases that spread. There's been several cases here in the mid-coast. Islesboro has the highest incident rate per capita in the state, apparently.
these ticks are here, they're here to stay, and apparently have no common enemy. Islesboro has taken the initiative to educate the public over there. And I would recommend we consider doing the same. One way we can do it, I think anyway, is there's a lot of information out there, pamphlets. And if we could get some, have them in the town office, anytime someone came in and bought a outdoor sporting type license, we can include that with it. You know, give them a heads up on prevention.
Is there some sort of pamphlet that's already available out there?
I don't know. I'm sure there is somewhere.
I gotta think, yeah.
I'm sure there is somewhere, but if we had some
Reinvent that
available
wheel, yeah.
that we can start getting out to our citizens.
So for people who purchase hunting license,
Right.
and fishing
At
license,
least it's a beginning.
Yeah.
Right for an ATV,
dog licenses maybe.
dog licenses.
I know it's-
Information, people coming from out of state may not know the problem.
Yeah. And, you know, you get a lot of people that enjoy Cedar Island, and there could be some of those that don't realize danger out there. So, you know, perhaps Friends of Cedar Island will work with us.
You just gotta get the publication.
Right.
That's probably where a warning
State
sign should be, where they walk onto
Right.
the island,
Yep.
because, you know, people don't think about those type of things.
I'd recommend though you get a chance, you know, read this newest issue.
I saw it and I didn't.
It's an eye opener.
I'd be surprised if there isn't something on the internet
Oh, there is.
Yeah, I gotta think there's no
that,
for us
that we
to
could
start
use
over.
Yeah.
and basically make a three-page,
Well, I'm sure.
threefold.
I'll check in Augusta.
Yeah, I'm sure Augusta must have somewhere over there, like in the
Yeah, Maine.gov.
wildlife or one of
Sure
them.
we did.
One of the best defenses against them is chickens. They had an article on TV a week or so ago that baby chicks and that stuff, it's hard to get them. They're very expensive when you can find them because they're always grubbing.
Yeah.
And they go after ticks and mosquitoes.
I heard guinea hens were the same.
Guinea hens, oh yeah.
And that's an argument for free range chickens.
Yeah.
I've used DEET.
Yeah.
Good old fashioned DEET.
Okay, that's all I have.
Okay. Cool.
Again, item 13, open to public.
No calls.
We should
No
have a
call?
quiet public out there.
Now take a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
According to MSA 14056F, confidential general assistance matters and poverty abatement request. And MSA 14056A, confidential personnel matter to discuss fire department issues.
So moved.
Second.
Or we may second to enter an executive session. All those in favor? Show it at 7:40.